EMS is coming. We're coming to get you, okay, bud? Don't do not move.
You can hear the 911 call Justin Whaley made, begging James Brumlow to stay still.
I hear somebody breathing, but they're not responding.
This after Whaley crashed into Brumlow's vehicle head-on, going the wrong way on Highway 111.
I don't know how. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention because it's so early in the morning, but I ended up on the wrong side of the road. And
was it the head-on collision then?
yes.
In their opening statement, the prosecutor revealed Justin Whaley had been drinking with a friend the night before, having a total of 6 glasses of bourbon.
The defendant goes to sleep about 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., sleeps anywhere from 3.5 to 4 hours. Then he gets in his truck, he goes down Retro Hughes Road, gets on 27 South, proceeds down that road until he ultimately does that U-turn.
Saudi Daisy police officer Jeremy Wright placed Whaley in custody for reckless endangerment that morning. Listen closely to what he tells Whaley.
I'm not going to put you in any bad positions, all right?
Wright testified he could smell the odor of alcohol coming from Whaley when he drove him to the Saudi Daisy Police Department. But Whaley was soon released after he got there. While the defense admits he was drinking hours before, they argue it had nothing to do with the crash.
This accident is Justin's fault. He misunderstood. He misunderstood what happened at this intersection, and he made a mistake. But alcohol has nothing to do with it.
Workman testified he didn't give Whaley a field sobriety test on the scene because if Whaley had a head injury, it could impact the reliability of the test.
In a serious crash, as we have seen, that is my standard, not to do a field sobriety test and go for other evidence.
Instead, officers took Whaley's blood to test it 4 hours after the crash. The state and the defense say that result came out to 0.02. The legal limit in Tennessee for a blood alcohol test or breath alcohol test is 0.08.
Highway 27 and 111.
According to testimony, this is a route familiar to Justin Whaley.
We'd get some calls up on 111 a lot. Then we'd have to go that way or back down.
Stephen Scott said he worked with Whaley at Hamilton County EMS. Scott was one of the first people on the scene when Justin Whaley drove his car head-on into James Brumlow's vehicle in 2018, going the wrong way on Highway 111, killing him.
And his priority to you was take care of the other person.
Yeah. He said he was okay to take care of the other person.
Here's a timeline that became important in Wednesday's testimony. Whaley's friend told police they drank alcohol until just before 1 a.m. At 5:40 a.m., police say the crash happened. But testimony shows officers didn't take a blood sample to test for alcohol until 9:40 a.m. Here's Justin Whaley calling 911.
I was going home from a friend's house.
Oh, okay.
I actually slept over because we were drinking a lot, but I slept over until I was 100% sober.
The prosecution called expert witnesses trying to prove what Whaley's alcohol level was at the time of the crash using what's called retrograde extrapolation. It's based on the average rate at which alcohol is eliminated from the body.
Then what would his blood alcohol be back at the time of the event, the significant forensic event? And that was the crash at 5:40. It would be somewhere between a 0.056 and a 0.120 gram percent.
Defense argued that measurement technique used by the prosecution is outdated.
Technology has improved since the 1930s, right? The machines you use today are obviously way more sensitive than the machines that he had available 90 years ago, right?
Correct.
They have to do this because the blood sample was taken by the TBI 4 hours after the crash.
Result was 0.020.
You can see Justin Whaley taking the stand only to say,
Not to testify.
this after hours of testimony from the defense. His team called some witnesses who saw Whaley right after he hit and killed James Brumlow while he was driving the wrong way on Highway 111.
Dispatch called me, said it was a head-on collision on 111.
Now retired, Greg Allen was Whaley's supervisor for years at Hamilton County EMS prior to the crash.
Only thing he actually said to me was that he was at fault,
Okay.
and I told him to stop.
Okay.
I don't need details.
He says he performed a triage assessment on Whaley after the crash, checking for injury.
He was speaking normally, didn't see any type of impairment.
Allen testified he did not smell any alcohol on Whaley. Testimony shows officers didn't draw Whaley's blood until 4 hours after the crash. The result was 0.02. Wednesday, the prosecution's expert witness estimated that Whaley's blood alcohol concentration could have been as high as 0.12 at the time of the deadly crash, using a method called retrograde extrapolation. But the defense called Dr. Jimmy Valentine to counter that.
If you have data that's unreliable, you're going to get an unreliable result, when you try to do the retrograde extrapolation.
Valentine says at some point his BAC could have been higher and it was coming down to a 0.02. What about Whaley's vehicle?
So in this case, Whaley had slowed gradually with light braking.
Mechanical engineering expert Stephen Becker says Whaley's Ford recorded data moments before the crash, calling the U-turn he made improper.
37.8 miles an hour for the Ford. He had braked about 1 second prior to impact.
Thanks for watching News Channel 9, and for more great local coverage, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. News Channel 9, depend on us.